To France now, where the Conservative Party, Les Républicains, is trying to rise from the ashes of scandal and loss with a primary on now for its presidential candidate for next year's election. Well, to break that down for you, let's bring in French politics editor Marc Perelman, who's with me on the set. Marc, first of all, give us some background on Les Républicains and the bad situation they're in at the moment.
Yes, they're in a bad situation because last time they held an open primary with over 4 million voters. They designated candidate François Fillon, but he was tarnished by a scandal and he did not make it to the second round of the presidential election. This was a major humiliation for a party that's been there since the beginning of the Fifth Republic and always a dominant party. And so they've won, yes, some regional elections, some local elections, and there was concern that they would be divided going into this presidential race because some candidates say, you know, I'm going directly to the presidential election. I don't have any kind of internal votes. In the end, they were able to manage this kind of internal votes, which is taking place as we speak. And we will know the name of the two finalists in an hour's time. And there's over 100,000 people voting. It's not a lot, but they're all members of the party. And all the candidates have accepted that, first of all, there'll be the two finalists today and the winner designated on Saturday, and they will all rally behind that person. And it's already an achievement because of all the past divisions we've seen in this party and all the problems they've gone through. And they think that because it's really a totally open race for the presidency, they have a shot.
I guess the question is do they really have a shot? It seems at this point that the election is President Macron's to lose.
It is President Macron to lose, but he can lose it because right now, let's be careful with the polls, but he's hovering around 25%. It's not huge. He's 10 points or so ahead of the far-right leader Marine Le Pen, the new far-right candidate Éric Zemmour, and behind that, a candidate from Les Républicains. The problem is that candidate has not been designated yet. When he or she, because there's one woman among them, will be designated, they're hoping that he will have some momentum and be able to get a bump in the polls. And so you have many candidates on the left. You have two candidates on the far right, and you have Emmanuel Macron, and you have one candidate from the right. And all the polls are showing that if this candidate manages to arrive in the second round, he will be the best challenger for Emmanuel Macron, the worst for Emmanuel Macron, but that he has a shot. So they're coming back from nowhere, essentially, the Conservative, but all the polls show that they have a shot. The problem is getting some momentum and be able to find political space between the far right that is strong and Emmanuel Macron, who's been essentially tilting towards the right because all the polls show that around 3/4 of the French favor a candidate from the right or the far right.
Marc, thank you for that. French politics editor Marc Perelman.